Ever wonder how we make some of the essential tools that we use today? It's pretty remarkable, considering that we have been making use of these tools as soon as we recognize our opposable thumbs. Well, now we are able to craft tools that are integral when it comes to some of the things we need to do every day. From start to finish, here is how essential tools are made. Axes. For as long as we can remember, humans have been using axes to chop through hardwood. Back in the day, our axes were made of simple, sharpened stones. Then about 35,000 years ago, some genius decided to add a wooden handle to the mix, thereby adding an amazing amount of force to the axe. Today, however, we have taken things a bit further with this axe. To make a modern axe today, the starting point takes place when we get our hands on a cylinder of high-quality steel. This cylinder of steel is then placed into an induction furnace where it is made pliable with an intense amount of heat. Once it is stretched and shaped properly, a powerful press is used to pound the steel into a series of dies so that the axe's profile would get even more defined. Once the edges are trimmed off with a cutter head, the axe is taken to another ram, which is used to press it even more so that it can straighten up and leveled up. Once this is done, the axe is taken to a revolving rack so that it can cool down for about half an hour. Once the axe has cooled down enough to be handled, the axes are placed into a tumbler so that they could be tossed around with steel pellets. This is done so that enough friction will be generated in a bid tub, the scale off the surface of the steel. This process also proves to be a way to smoothen the edges of the axe at the same time. After this, the axe is then grinded against a sanding belt so that the edges could be beveled. By beveled, we mean that the edges are cut at an angle that is not 90 degrees to the surface of the material. Simply put, it means that the edges are slanted. Following this, a smooth finish is applied to the axe before it is sharpened and the neck is polished. After this is done, the axe is dipped in a special solution that is heated to temperatures as high as 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. After some time, the axe is placed in warm oil so that the metal can harden up once more. Once it has cooled down, pre-punched leather and plastic rings are assembled onto the axe in a bid to build the axe's grip. Once this is done, the grip pack is placed into an assembly press so that the lower part of the axe could be inserted into it. Thanks to a hydraulic ram and adequate amount of lubrication, the axe is truly one with its grip. Once this is done, the axe's base is fixed with flattened metal prongs so that it could secure the grip. Following this, the axe is then rotated as long belt rocks against the leather. This allows the grip to be sanded in a bid to make the layers flush. After some more sanding, in a dip into clear lacquer to smoothen the leather, our axe is pretty much ready. All we need to do is polish the exposed steel, and we have an amazing new axe. The beauty of this axe is that although it takes 2 days to make it, you will be guaranteed to have an axe forever if created properly. Chains. Another item that has been in existence for thousands of years now is chains. When we look back at it, we will find that it was used to make anything from chains for jewelry to shackles in law enforcement to tools for construction. Seeing that we still use chains for those purposes and then some these days, it is interesting to see how this metal tool is made. To make a jack chain, for example, you need a wire rod. Once you get a wire rod, you will need to uncoil it with a turning drum. This same turning drum will also pull the wire rod through a steel guide ring into a steel draw box. Within this box, there is enough oil to lubricate the wire before being led out of the box where it will be placed into some die. You may find that the die has a smaller diameter than the wire, and as a result, when the turning drum pulls the wire rod through said diameter, you may find that the wire narrows down. As a result, it also becomes stronger than ever before. Following this, electrically driven tools are used to shape or form the metal. First off, a tool known as a jaw is used to propel the wire forward. As this is happening, another jaw is used to push the wire in a way that bends it around a steel pin. This helps it form the links of the chain. This is done repeatedly so that several links will be formed in a repeated loop. To make chains that can handle heavier loads, you'd find that a grip is used to pull the wire onto rollers. This is done so that the wire could be straightened out. Once this is done, steel cutters are used to make notches on both sides of the wire. That way we can know the wire is going to be cut up so that we can make the links pieces. Following this, a mechanized knife is used to make the final cut on the notches. Once this is done, roller arms are used to loop a cut piece of wire around a steel finger. This is no easy process as a ton of pressure is used to make sure this happens. The next step then involves the use of tools similar to pliers to grab the metal and turn it around. This allows the machine to connect one link to another, thereby creating the chain after some repeated loops. On a good day, these machines make about 50 to 60 links per minute. Pretty cool, right? Once the chain is formed, it is strengthened in the welding machine with some heat and some electrical currents. When the links are smelted together, the The freshly welded chain is placed into a heat treating coil. There, an electrical current is run through the copper coil so that the chain would get heated up within the copper coil. This is done until the chain has been heated up to temperatures of 1,724 degrees Fahrenheit. Following this, the chain is placed into some water so that it could cool down. Afterwards, the water is placed into a second heat coil that is not as hot as the original one, so that it can shake off its brittleness. Following this, it is then placed into another cool bath before its strength is tested in a calibrator. Only then will you know how powerful this chain link is. Bricks. Finally, we take a look at how bricks are made. Considered to be fireproof, pest-resistant, and weather-resistant, it makes sense that bricks are one of the oldest building materials in human history. Thanks to some shale, a lightweight rock that can break down into thin layers with ease, we can make these bricks with the shale when they are ready to process. This usually takes about 2 years of exposure, but once it is ready, it is taken to a factory where a 4-foot-high stone wheel with a steel tire is used to grind the shale into powder. Once this is done, the powder is taken to the pug mill so that it could be mixed with some water. This helps create a thick paste that will be processed in the extrusion machine. This machine then passes the paste through a rectangular opening that helps it form a long, continuous piece that is referred to as a slug. While this is going on, the machine shaves off the crustier top layer of the paste in a bid to reveal what turns into the face of the brick. If everything is done properly, we will have the red bricks that we are familiar with today. Following this, the texture of the brick is formed using a texture roller. Following this, a large knife is used to cut up the slug into 5-foot lengths. With these 5-foot lengths of slugs, a bricklayer can cut up several 23-inch bricks. These bricks are often uneven, so they eventually make their way back into the mix to make new slugs. Once this is corrected, the next thing to do is to stack them up. Considering how delicate these bricks could be once they are newly formed, a machine is used to separate them before grasping onto each individual brick with vices that are fixed with inflatable bags. Once the bricks are relocated, you may notice that the water in the bricks have begun to evaporate. Time means that the bricks need to go into a dryer for about 2 days. Following this, the bricks are fired in a kiln that bakes the bricks at temperatures that are as high as 1,900 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the bricks are ready, some quality checks are done before they get the okay. Now they are perfect to build your perfect structure.